Okay, welcome everyone. We're going to do some Tai Chi today with some qigong. My name is Lesley and I'm a certified AFLCA group fitness instructor. I teach Tai Chi and have done so for about 1.5 years now. And if you have any questions that are beyond my understanding, I have no troubles going to seek them and bringing the answer back to you next week. So feel free to ask any question. Even if I can't answer you today, I'll grab the answer for you and bring it back to you next week. First, we're going to take a moment and acknowledge the weight that we have behind us, our babies. So we're going to make sure they're quite comfortable and they're quite comfortable on our bodies. So we're going to make sure any adjustments that need to happen now. If we've given them some things to play with, we're going to let them play with them. If we need to grab them, we're going to make some conscious effort to try to not hinge too far into the knee past the toe to grab the object. We're really going to get into a nice posture that allows us comfortably to bend, pick the object up, give it back to baby, and allow for them to play. Okay, so let's step right into the Tai Chi and Qigong stance, and that's in a shoulder width position with our feet quite wide. And when I say wide feet, I don't mean really in the stance. I mean the foot itself is allowed to have as many points of contact with the ground as you can afford it. So you're really allowing the foot to expand. We're going to allow for a little bit of space to be made in the ankle and a little bit of space to be made in the knee. With that space created, we're going to remind the hip to relax, and we're going to take some time to create a tiny bit of space in between each vertebrae. As though you could imagine creating pockets of room in between each vertebrae. Take your time with that. You may need to close your eyes for the visualization. Allow for the knees to have a bit of room, no tension there. Allow for the shoulders probably to round a little bit as you relax the shoulder and relax all the way through the arm into the hand. And from here, allow the tongue to rest to the roof of the mouth. We're going to take some inhales, exhales here with curiosity. How does it affect the body when we inhale? Does it rise through the shoulders or through the abdomen? Does it rise through the back, perhaps? Take those nice inhales, exhales, being careful not to force the breath for too long, but simply observing. As we take observation down into the belly now, let's let the inhale rise the belly and the exhale draw the navel back to the spine. At a pace that is comfortable for us, without the breath needing to be any longer or shorter than it is naturally. We're simply observing. From here, in this nice anchored stance, we're going to allow both hands to rise. With one hand just a bit further than the other, allow for a stretch to be felt through the back. Aware of the weight on the back, we're careful not to overstretch. Keep climbing as though you were climbing rungs on a ladder, and being careful not to create too much tension in through the deltoid, bicep, and tricep. Rather, just a nice stretch in through the lower back. With an even reach of both, allow the hands now on an exhale to come down, emptying the space. here, we're going to allow our hips to guide the motion. Allow the back to be quite relaxed and allow the hands side to side to tap onto the kidney if it can reach or onto baby's bottom. Allow the body to come back to center as though on its own. And remind the crown of the head to lift and the rest of the body to relax, as though the crown of the head were supporting the rest of the body. The hips can relax, as well as the knees. And in order to do some further stretching, what we're going to do now is we're going to let babies go down. So make sure when you're letting baby come off that you're doing so in a safe way. So we're going to sit on the ground. Allow baby to sit. Encourage them back up. We'll let babies roam as we continue. So from here in that nice anchored position where our feet had as many connection points as they could have, where our hips were nice and relaxed, we're going to allow here for some space to be made in through all of our joints, with the purpose of nice qi flow, or if you prefer the verbiage blood flow, that's fine. And we're going to allow for the hands to rise. As the hands rise to above the crown, they meet, and they come to meet at the heart. They fall softly back to the ground, and we'll do that twice more. So there's one. And on the last one, we're going to allow for the hands to meet at the heart. We're going to hinge at the waist and encourage the torso to bend. From here, we're going to lift to a point of comfort. And on an exhale, allow the hinge. On an inhale, a bit of tension in through the abdomen. Exhale, let that go. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. In. If this is not a comfortable hinge only to your point of comfort. If that means you're hinging here and coming back up, that's fine. We're going to hinge just to a point of comfort. And we're going to go for 3 more. And on the last one, we're really going to allow for the torso just to suspend here. And when we sway side to side, again, it's to a point of comfort. If the sway is limited, so in a smaller range here, let it be so. In a wider range, you're going to get a bit more of a tap in through the lower leg, and through the calf, the hamstring. For 3 more. And on the last one, gradually allow for the torso to come back to center.
and shrug through the shoulder, allowing for the deltoid to relax, the bicep, the triceps to relax, the forearms also relax. And if the fingers are tapping the ground, it's fine. Here, we let the arms relax again. The tailbone guides the body down. The crown lifts up gradually and lifts the body for you. From here, allow both hands up, one further up than the other. We'll go for 4 reaches, 4 on each side. 3, allowing nice inhales, exhales. And when we're reaching about evenly with both, awareness to the breath so that your next exhale can empty the space between your hands and bring them back down. We're going to remind those feet again to relax, the ankles, the knees and the hips, working into the back. And as though we were carrying space just below navel, allow the hands to rest with palms facing up. We're going to allow for an inhale to rise the left hand when we begin. Take a moment here to check in with the body. Encourage that relaxation through the back. Remind the crown of the head to support. And when we rise on an inhale, let the left hand glide up as though tracing a large circle. On the exhale, whenever you take it next, let it fall. Whenever you next inhale, let the left hand rise up. Whenever you next exhale, let it fall. So one more. Move over to the right side so that your right palm can now rise on an inhale. Let an exhale. Let an inhale rise. Let an exhale fall. Let an in come up. Let an out come down. Remind the back to relax, the shoulders to relax. Remind the hips to take a bit of weight. Feet to relax. And the left palm can now trace again up the left side of the circle and back down. And then in. Switching to the right now, allow the right palm to trace up and down. And in, down, and in. For the last round, allow for the space between your palms to become obvious. Be aware of any sensation that you feel as a response between your palms. Encouraging a natural inhale, exhale shape. Switching to the right for an inhale. Last 2 on the right. Allow the space between the palms to be felt and acknowledged. And on an exhale, separate the space. We'll go into some Tai Chi now, and we'll go into it with the same attitude as we had with qigong. So that's that nice relaxation through the body. We're trying not to tense through the shoulders, through the back, and anywhere through the hip. The knees, likely while we're learning, will tense. We'll start getting a little bit of tension felt through the knee. The hamstrings will tighten, as will the quads, and as will the calf. It will tense right up. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to allow for that space to be created repeatedly. We're going to be very mindful of our breath. We're not going to try to make it any longer or shorter than it is naturally, just mindful of our own pace of breath. So that when we say on an inhale, this next movement, it's on your next inhale. It's not a force of an inhale, force of an exhale. It's just whenever your next pace of breath allows for that movement. So before we begin the Tai Chi, we're going to do a balance exercise. And in doing this, what we're going to do is we're going to try to create a tripod of support in each foot. In the ball of the foot, make 2 points of support, one on the inside, one on the outside. And create 1 point in the heel. So you have a tripod of support in both feet. And one in each foot, so that if you were to lift one foot, the other foot can very easily take the weight and the balance. We're going to allow for all of our weight to be distributed here to the right foot. We're going to allow our hands to cross over the heart. Make your left foot hollow. Here, if it is uncomfortable to lift the foot, if you're off balance or just out of comfort, we're going to allow for that foot to stay on the ground as a point of anchor. And we're going to allow for that foot to move freely without really ever lifting it off the ground. If it is comfortable, what we're going to do is we're going to allow for that weight on the right foot. We're going to make the left foot hollow. And as we separate the hands, we're going to allow for the left foot to stretch. We're going to bring it back as we close the hands. And we're going to go in a nice, comfortable pace here. We're going to go for 3 more. And 1 more. Bring it back. Allow both feet to feel nice and anchored. That tripod of support is reestablished in the left foot. The hands cross over the heart. And then the right foot takes its turn outward. For 1. We're going to go for 4 more. 2. 3. 4. For 1 last one. And reestablish that tripod of support in both feet. If we're with baby, we're just going to take a moment and take an awareness to the inhale-exhale pattern. How do those ins and outs feel? Where do we feel them? Do we feel it in the belly or in through the back? And with our feet nice and anchored, we take a moment to reestablish where we are in the room, how our bodies feel. Are they nice and relaxed? Can we maybe remind the knees to relax a little bit, the lower back to create some space, the shoulders to create that same space. Remind the traps not to have any tension through them. So that now, in a rooted position, we can bring both feet together, a little bit more narrow than shoulder width, to begin. I'm going to stand at an angle now so that you have a nice point of reference. We don't have any mirrors set up, so this is going to be a nice way so that I'm not mirroring you in direction. What we're going to do is we're going to allow for an inhale, exhale to bring all of our weight into the right foot. When you're ready, with space made, allow for the left foot to land And make that nice point of contact, reestablishing both tripods. Relax through the back. Let the hands submerge here like into water, creating space between the hip and the thumb. And when you're ready for an inhale, let the thumbs begin to rise. On an exhale, the palms guide the action down. And inhale, the wrists rise. And exhale traces the same path back down. We'll go for 2 more of the same action, relaxing through the shoulder. Let an inhale rise the thumb. Let an exhale lower the space. Let an inhale rise the wrists. Let an exhale trace the same path back down. On your inhale, on your next exhale, on your next in, on your next out. One more and we'll add a motion. Inhale. On the exhale, the hands submerge. On the inhale, the wrists rise. Exhale traces the same path. We're going to carry some weight into the left palm. With that weight in the left palm, we're going to take a moment of awareness and see if there's any change in the sensation in this palm. We're going to allow the right hand to come over as though touching the top of a ball, and on an exhale, we'll let that space go. An inhale brings the hand back, takes a pause at the heart, lets it go. Carry as though you were carrying a ball into the right hip. Left hand comes over. Exhale, lets that space go. We remind the knees to relax, the hips relax with them. The hand comes to the heart and exhale. And we carry that space to a center as though carrying a ball. Bring that space in close, and then exhale makes the space quite small. The hands separate here. Try to take a moment of practice on your own to allow for the inhales, exhale pattern to be observed. And so what I really mean is just, can you observe on your own that an inhale might rise here? We might take 5 or 6 inhales, exhales. We let the palms drop on an exhale. Every action up is on an inhale. Every action down is on your next exhale. Your inhale is moving the body up or towards you. Your exhale moves the body away or down and away from you. Try to take a few moments with the actions we just learned. And if it's just the first few motions that we're going through of up and down, that's fine. It is still Tai Chi and it still has all of the health benefits as though we were going through the entire process. When you're ready to start again, allow the crown to be lifted, the back to relax. And we're going to allow an inhale to guide the thumbs up. The elbows bend, relax the shoulders, let the palms submerge. Let the inhale rise the wrists. Let the exhale trace that space. Let the left palm sit at the left hip and the the right hand come over. Let it go. Try to invite an inhale to come around. Go to the heart and let it exhale. Carry as though you were carrying a ball to the right hip. Let the left palm come over. Watch it go. Watch it come in. Sit at the heart. Watch it go. As though we were carrying that space, let the hips square out here. The weight distribution is about 50-50, foot to foot. And allow the hands to separate. Let's check back in with the body. If it's more comfortable for the right hip to carry a bit more weight from any pre-existing conditions, let that be the stance that we're in. There's more relevance to comfort versus exact posture here. So we're going to allow for some extra weight, say on the right or on the left, regardless, whatever your most comfortable posture is, that allows you to relax into the posture without feeling any tension one way or the other, is what we're going to start out with. Over time, that posture will correct itself. But just to start out, if we have any pre-existing conditions, we're really going to allow for that correction. So with that in mind, allow for the feet to relax, the knees to have a bit of space created. We have a bit of an angle, nothing exaggerated. We're not going into a 90-degree, just a small amount of space to allow for proper circulation all the way through the body. We're going to allow for that space again in through the shoulders. And on an inhale, we'll allow for the rise. On an inhale. On an exhale. Left hip carries a bit of extra weight. Whenever you're ready, an inhale. An exhale brings it out. An inhale brings it back in. Stops at the heart and out. Carries that into the right hip for a nice flowing action, reminding the shoulders to relax. And carry that space back into center. That space becomes quite small. Let the hands sit. How is that for relaxation through the body?
It's nice. It felt good.
Okay. And are you feeling any tension anywhere that you weren't feeling before class?
No.
Okay. No. Okay. So we're going to add another motion to that series. And that's going to require a little bit of coordination. So we're going to make sure we're nice and secure, nice and snug with our carriers. Babies are nice and comfortable because we're going to be turning through this action. So from this position here, I'm going to stand in this direction here so that you can see me. From this position, we're going to turn toward the right and we're going to lift the space just to above the crown of the head. So we're going to stand in the same direction. We have the left hand on the bottom, right hand on top. And when we're ready, we're going to allow for a turn. So we're going to put some extra weight onto the left foot, empty the right toe, rise the hands to above the crown. And from here, put a little bit of extra weight to your right foot. See if you can bring the left foot forward comfortably. You may need to keep it on the ground and drag it in. You may need to rise it. Whatever your comfort is here, go with that. If you can rise it in,
or bring the left toe in. And when you're ready, step forward onto the left heel. Let the right hand drop. Take your time, allowing for the right hand to come to meet the left as the left hand turns away from you. So there's a little bit more complexity to that movement. We're going to bring ourselves back to a center position, and we're going to start back with the left hand on the bottom and the right hand on top, as though we were carrying space. In that position, we're going to take some inhales, exhales. See how the body feels. Are the feet nice and wide and comfortable? Are the hips nice and relaxed? And from here, are we able to see the space between our palms? From here, we're going to carry extra weight to the left, empty the right toe. We're going to carry that space upward and above the crown. When baby's not relying on our leg, and when we have the time, we're going to allow for that left toe to come in. And we're going to step onto the left heel. The right hand lowers gradually, taking its time to come up. The left hand turns away. And both hands come up as though they were holding a nice round ball. Let's do that one more time. Allow for that space between the left and right palm to be quite noticeable, almost as though there were extra weight between your palms. We're reminding the crown to suspend the body here. The hips relax. And it's as though you had a thread running from the crown of the head all the way through the center of the body into the middle of the feet that were supporting the body. Extra weight to the left foot. Empty the right toe. Begin the transition of extra weight onto the right foot. Rise both hands to the crown. Bring the left foot in. Here, allow the left foot to step forward. Make sure that right knee is quite comfortable. And the right hand can come up, left palm faces out, as though you were holding a nice round ball. Allow both feet to come together, the hands to come to the side, and relax the body. You want to run through it one more time? Okay, let's go through. Okay, so in that nice shoulder width position, we've allowed some open space in the body, and we're making sure we're going to our body's limitations and comforts. It means that when we turn here, we take a moment for the left foot to come in a little bit to allow for the hips to feel more comfortable. We'll do that there. Making sure our bodies are quite comfortable through the entire motion. Let's begin the action. Extra weight to that right toe. Rise the hands. Allow for the left foot to step forward. Pardon me. From here, there's that extra weight that goes to the right foot. The left foot is hollow now, comes in, steps onto the left heel for the right hand to come down. So carrying space. And bring that right foot forward to meet the left. Let your hands submerge like into water here. Let's go through the entire action together. I'll stand sideways for a point of reference just for the first portion of it. And then when we turn, I'll face the same direction. And then that way we can go through the action together. Okay. So let's relax through the feet, hands submerged. Let's take that nice inhale to rise. The exhale submerges the palm. On your next inhale, your next exhale, your next inhale, your next exhale, your next in, transfers that space into the right hip. Exhale, on and in, and on and out. You transfer that space to the center and make that space just a bit smaller. I'll turn now for point of reference. When you're ready, exhale, weight into the left hip, let the right toe rise. And let's come over to put some extra weight to the right. Let that left foot hollow gradually. And as the step goes forward, the right foot hand comes down, comes up to hold space. From here, we're going to allow the right foot to come forward, the hands to submerge. On an inhale, allow both hands to come forward as though you could hold the space just ahead of you. And on an exhale, invite that space just below the navel to dense in. And allow both hands to relax. So from here, let's go into one more round of the same pattern. And if there's ever a time in between classes where you want to do the motion that you remember as many times as you can do it comfortably.
Okay.
And don't think that you have to do it in the exact order that we're doing it in class.
Okay.
As long as you're doing the motion that you learned, that you're comfortable in the action, and that you're not feeling strain anywhere in the body while you're doing it, and you're doing it right. And if you're feeling the response in the hands, that's another indication that you're doing it right for you.
Okay.
Again, if you have any pre-existing conditions in through the back, that 50-50 weight distribution will come with time. There's no urgency to that. So just make sure that you go by whatever makes sense for you. If it's a 60-40 weight distribution, that's fine. If it's a 70-30, that's also fine. Okay. So we'll go through the same motions again. When we're done, we'll go through a little bit more qigong, and then we'll do breathing exercises. And then that'll be the class. Okay. So let's begin with our feet just a little bit more narrow than shoulder width this time. When we're ready for an exhale, we're going to empty weight into the right foot. And we're going to correct our stance to about shoulder width with the left foot, making two beautiful tripods, points of anchor, letting the hands submerge like into water. When you're ready for your next inhale, relax the shoulders and let the thumbs come up almost on their own. Let the palms guide an exhale when you're ready. Relax the back and inhale and exhale. Left palm invites the right over for an inhale and exhale. On an inhale, come to the heart for an exhale. Turn that space. For an exhale.
Bring it over to the heart. Carry that space to your center. A little bit of a smaller space here. The left foot carries extra weight. The right toe hollows. Redistribute that weight to the right toe. Rise that space. Left foot corrects to come in. The right hand drops. Carries the left foot forward. Left hand faces out to receive the right hand. That space is carried down. The right foot comes in. On an inhale, carry your hands as though you were tracing the space ahead of you. And let your next exhale invite the space in. And let the hands submerge here like into water. How was that? The last round. How was that?
I like that. Being smooth, warm.
Okay. So we'll go through some more qigong, and the reason that I'm showing you so many different patterns is because we're quite busy as people, let alone as moms. So this gives us a chance to break it apart, little sections, and that way if there's ever a time where you feel like you need to do it in a repetition, you can just do it in a repetition that you've seen in class and your body's already accustomed to. Okay, quite comfortable.
Nice.
Okay. So here what we're going to do is we're going to allow that same space to be created through the body. If this is imposing at this point, if this is starting to create a little bit of stress through the lower back or a little bit of stress through the knees, I'm just going to invite you to really remind the body to sit within its comfort so that you're not trying to force anything that isn't natural. You're not trying to push too far into the feet. You're really allowing just a little bit of extra space. A little bit of extra space in through the ankle, the knee, the hip. And every one of your vertebrae has a little bit of extra space in between each second vertebrae. There's a little bit of space. So allow for those deltoids to relax, the bicep, the tricep. We're going to go all the way through the back. I'm going to take a quick moment of observation to allow for the space in our bodies to be observed. Are we comfortable? If we are comfortable, are we allowing? If we are comfortable, are we allowing for some observation around the hands, perhaps? How do the hands feel? How do the fingers feel? Would you be able to measure the space between the fingertip and the ground if you had to? Moment of awareness here. When you're ready, allow both your hands to start to journey upward so that when you reach the crown, the fingertips can point toward the forehead, down the abdomen, and push down to earth. Here, when you rise, you're going to want to push up through the heel. We're going to allow the fingers to point inward. When we exhale, we're going down. And inhale is going to rise us up. Fingers will point in. And exhale will trace down. And the palms here will meet earth. When you rise, try to push up through the heel. Let the fingers point in. Trace down. And let the palms meet earth. When the palms meet earth, push down into the heel. Don't allow the knees to go any further past the toes. A small 45-degree angle should be fine in through the seat. And then when you rise, you're going to push up. A little bit less of an angle in through the knee. Face down, push down, and into earth. My apologies. So from here, we're going to allow for that space to be created in through the knee. to the hips, to the back. And inhale is going to rise us up. Fingers will point in. We're going to allow for the knees to absorb a little bit here. Sit into the posture. Allow for the hands to meet the ground. And when we push up, we're pushing up through the heel. Hands come all the way up. Fingers point inward. We trace down. And the palms push down. And inhale rises us up. And we'll go for 3 more. For 2 more. And on the last one, a nice exhale carries the palm to the ground. Relaxing through the body. And from here, we're just going to go into some breaths for the organs. So when we do that, from a standing or a seated position, whichever you're most comfortable with, I'll encourage you to sit just so that the littles have a chance to interact with us while we're doing this. So these breathing sequences are meant to bring the right amount of chi to the organs that we're concentrating on while we're doing it. There's a bit of importance here to how our posture. There's a bit of importance here to our posture. There's always a bit of relevance to the posture, but here it's really just to remind the crown to do the supporting. The supporting, allow for the shoulders to relax. If it means there's a bit of a round through the back, that's fine. We're going to make sure we're comfortable, and whether that means that both of our feet are out, one is out. If we sit in a bit of a lotus pose, that's fine. Whatever you're most comfortable with. So the breathing sequences we do all have a vibration or a sound attached to it. So the first sound that we do is for the heart, and it's ha is the sound, so it's ha, and there's 7 of those breaths. So we're going to bring the pointer finger to thumb on both hands, and we're going to allow for the right hand to sit over the heart. When we're ready, we're going to start on an inhale. We're going to take a nice big breath in. And the exhale sounds like ha for 6 more. Ha. Three more. Last one. The next breathing sequence that we do is for the stomach. And for the stomach is a nice loud om. So it's the vibration of the M that we want to carry down into the belly. And if that means that we're not quite comfortable going om out loud, that's fine. We can do it internally and really just think of pushing a vibration down as far as you can into the belly on the out breath. There's 10 of them. So let's go on an inhale. One more. Two more with the locks in the shoulders. Last one. The next breathing sequence we do has the same finger posture. So ring finger to thumb, and this is for the lungs. It brings an F sound on the way out, and it's really just a, and there's 9 of them. So you're really trying to force that breath out. It doesn't have to be a full empty, just a 9 of those breaths. Ring finger thumb, and let's go for a nice big inhale. Two more. Okay. So the next breathing sequence that we get into is for the liver. And for the liver, we really try to hinge forward a little bit into the palm of the hand. And you're trying to push your kidneys into the palm on an S like Sam sound. So hands into the hip, where you hinge at the hip. Allow for your hands to sit there in a nice, comfortable way. Yeah. We're going to hinge forward just a little bit on an S sound. So we're going to take a nice inhale. Two more. Last. The next breath we do is for the liver. So for the liver, there's a bit more action than through the arm. We're going to allow for an inhale to trace the hand up the sides of the thigh, up the sides, the shoulders, and past the brow goes the exhale. So here we're tracing the meridian that follows the liver meridian, is what we're following. We take our inhale and our exhale starts at the end of that liver meridian, which is on either side of the brow. So we're going to start for an inhale at the knee, and it's an HU sound on the way out. 7 more. Three more. One more. Inhale, exhale. Great. Allow for the shoulders to relax. Allow for the palms to relax. And let's just sit in quiet contemplation. So what we'll do here is we're going to try to allow for as much open feeling through the body. So the back feels quite open. So does the hips. Feet feel quite open. And the palms are nice and receptive here. We're going to allow for the tongue to rest at the roof of the mouth. And some inhales, exhales, bring us into our own body. Our peripheral still very observant of everything around us. Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah. Okay. So here we're going to allow for the inhales, exhales that occur to just bring us into awareness of our own body. How does it move the body? Does it move? Does it move through? So we'll bring ourselves back to the body. The palm's quite receptive. And the inhales, exhales remind us of the space that is our own body. Separate from our babes. Separate from our surroundings. Take our inhales, exhales, and be mindful of our own bodies rising and falling. With the same awareness we would bring to watching our children's rise. A nice relaxed pace. Reminds the shoulders to relax, but to support the back in a nice posture. The tongue rests to the roof of the mouth, and the eyes closed if possible. And as many times as you can, bring yourself back to the belly's rise and fall. If naturally the breath rises and falls through the shoulders, we're going to take a moment and try to really rise the belly on an inhale, let it fall on an exhale, as many times as it takes, so that the action becomes natural. We may have to bring our awareness back quite a few times. Welcome the distractions, and let your inhales, exhales be the center of attention. Are you able now to take an inhale in the left nostril and exhale from the right nostril? If you have a bit of congestion, it's simply the awareness of the left nostril on the inhale, of the right nostril on the exhale. And let's go for about 3 more breaths. Awareness, left inhale, right exhale. One more. And now let's switch to the right for the inhale and the left for the exhale. And try to count down 7 breaths. Switching now for an inhale in the left with 7 breaths. Count. Exhale right with 6 breath counts. Trying to keep the number in mind as we hear and observe the actions around us. For 3 more. And try and see if you can do that for 3 more times.
So 7 inhales, exhales. Going from the right to the left and the left to the right. And see if those are things that you can bring home to do in the midst of the chaos of raising babies and living our lives. If there's any questions, feel free to come see me after class or before next class, as I'm usually about 10 minutes early.